One case in Counter-Strike right now has only one skin that gates the entire Factory New output supply and the entryway into one of the most sought-after knives in the game. And that choke point has been located by China.
And now for our Counter-Strike report. New York's very own Mike Water.
Welcome back to the news, China edition. I'm your host, Mike Water 9. Weird accumulation is happening across all sections of the market right now. And if we want to ride these waves of pumps without being exit liquidity, we got to look at the items themselves, the collections they come in, and the mechanics surrounding it before we jump in. Now we will have a new section on DE News China, and that will be Steam DT. If you are unfamiliar, Steam DT is China's equivalent to what we have in America, Price Empire. It is a little bit more in-depth though. It looks like Yahoo Finance. Candlestick charts, super fucking in-depth. They also have their own indexes, ones that differ from the ones we use in America and EU. So it's best to look at those and see what they're talking about and what's in their indexes. Now, they use a lot of slang when it comes to their gun names. Now, the names don't translate well from Chinese to English, so we'll have to use a little bit of intuition and also some help from Chinese players that we have in our community that can help us translate. There are three main indexes we are looking at today. The first two are the 100 battles and the 1,000 battles index, respectively. And the battles part doesn't really mean anything. The 100 and 1,000 do. The 100 is the price amount in Chinese yuan, so 100 and below. I believe it's 20 to 100 RMB for the ones in the index, at least when they were put in the index. And the 1,000 battles, I believe is above 100 to 1,000. And similarly, when the items were added, a lot of them are above those price points now, but that doesn't matter. These indexes will become mainstays and we'll always keep a look on them. And that's because we've seen a decent amount of attention regarding these indexes, specifically last night on our China Watch stream. It dipped a little bit overnight, so daytime over there, but it has seen a little bit of recovery this morning. The real attention, however, is going to be on the Alchemy Index. Now, this one does make a little bit of sense. Alchemy means trade up. Specifically, the Alchemy red skins, of course, the ones that trade up to knives and gloves. Now, movements here on this index don't necessarily help us determine what to purchase, but from this index, we can see what cases are moving, and from there, we can pick out skins within those cases that house inputs or key choke points into the reds. That's the one we're going to be mainly focusing on, but before that, we need to talk about someone who doesn't play by the rules necessarily. And that, of course, is our favorite Instagram influencer, REU. Now, it seems that REU's pumps are still running. The Galil Dusk Ruins, which I've been holding for a few months now, went ballistic again. I believe last time it reached $120 on Steam at its high. Around 2 days ago, it did hit like $150, $160, to which there were 2 or 3 purchases at that price point, meaning that there's demand at those price points. On our China Watch stream, we saw a few of the AUG carved jades in a lot of inventories, which were noted to be in a lot of his videos when he was making videos specifically pumping different types of color-themed pumps. Another green skin that we mentioned in that video was the Galil Eco, specifically in minimal wear because of his unique float cap. However, that one is too late to enter. We did see it pump over the last few weeks, and it'll probably start to trend down a little bit more now, although who knows how far they take it. And because he focuses on themed, color-based pumps, I'm not going to be looking into the collections here. It's just something to note. Their main color themed were the MP9s, the 4 MP9s, Stained Glass, Dark Age, Setting Sun, and Hydra. And we did see a post on the China Watch Discord noting that there is another good entry into the MP9s right now. So it's best to look at some of those price movements, not necessarily for the MP9s, but for the inputs. One of the top movers on Steam DT last night was the Glock 18 Sacrifice. That is a blue skin within the CS2 collection, which, as you should know, moves up to the MP9 Hydra. So there is some movement based on fundamentals, but it seems that these movements are from retail trying to trade up, rather than the actual pump groups targeting specific inputs with those float caps. And now we will bring our attention back to the Alchemy Index and the red skins within it. As I said previously, the movements here will help us determine which cases are moving and which plays to make within those cases, such that we can be exposed to the Chinese pumps without buying the actual pumps themselves. You will find that you will do much better with this style of purchasing into the pumps, rather than dealing with the stress and anxiety that'll come with holding a pumped skin, not knowing when it can tumble at any time. Now I think Mike Water 9 is being translated through AI to China because they're smart and they love to target full float capped weapons before pumping their main target within the collection. And that should be intuitive. I've been talking about this for months at this point. Before, your inputs didn't matter. Now they do, which causes a lot of price movements in different rarities, specifically on the ones that benefit from this change. Because to this point, not every skin has caught up to this news even a couple months later. And beyond that, even if they do catch up, If certain skins get pumped, then these ones typically lag, which leads us to what we found in last night's China Watch stream. And we did see a pattern in terms of which cases Chinese inventories were accumulating skins in. These were, but not limited to, but these were the main ones we saw. Spectrum 1 and 2, mainly 1 though. Smaller positions, but we did see Gallery, Kilowatt, and Fever. Chroma 1, 2, and 3, mainly 3. Clutch and Revolution continue to see inputs being bought, not the gloves themselves though. And one odd one, but Vanguard. Now, omitting Vanguard because it is a weird one, which I'll touch on individually, the other cases do share a pattern. And the pattern is they offer now discontinued knife and glove finishes through limited pathways. The Spectrum cases house the Butterfly Knife Doppler, but there are only 2 ways in which you can get it, Spectrum 1 and Spectrum 2. Now, if you pump all of the skins within that case, trade-ups become unprofitable and thus not happen as often, and because of all the prices increasing within the skin section of the case price typically rises to match the new ROI, thus making opening cases unrealistic. If the cases are $20 each, not everyone's doing that. With that, you now control the flood of supply inwards, and it makes purchasing up and controlling prices that much easier. Now, Spectrum of all of these cases does have the cleanest setup, specifically Spectrum 1. The case price is a little bit more inflated than Spectrum 2, which always helps, right? Less incoming supply by way of people opening them. And what's interesting about this collection, which I found last night looking through the case, there are 0 blues with a float cap of 0 to 1, 1 purple, 0 pinks, and 0 reds. That means they only really need to control 1 skin. And by controlling that 1 skin, they now control everything above it. And that is the UMP Scaffold. Now, it started to get eaten up on the Steam community market last night. However, the price is around $8 right now. So by no means bad. Because every subsequent pink and red that comes in factory new from this case collection, you're probably going to need one of these UMP Scaffolds, barring a .000 something else purple in the collection, which is going to be more expensive. The M4A1-S Decimator, which is the highest float range within the pinks, although it's not 0 to 1 completely, well, that is starting to see accumulation, and it looks to be their next target. Now, this one has been pumped before the knife trade-up update, but now we're dealing with a whole completely different landscape. This one actually has fundamentals now, and is not a complete risk when it comes to purchasing the skin. And it's with the price movements of the 0 to 1 float guns that give you confirmation, right? Don't purchase the $100 M4 yet until you see price action on the $8 UMP, which is the only input to get it. If that moves, then the whole collection will follow. Since all of them got eaten up on the Steam community market, try skinsmonkey.com to trade for it instead. Today's video has been sponsored by the lovely ladies and gentlemen over at skinsmonkey.com. Skinsmonkey is the industry standard trading forum and marketplace for anything and all things Counter-Strike. 24/7 support and an instant trading system so fast, those Bulgarian overpay goblins are sure to go out of business. Now, if that's not enough incentive, throw my code Mike in on the website for $5 off on your first trade. But if you trade up to $100 on the website, they'll double your bonus from 5 to 10. Now, if you don't have any skins and I just gave you some free game on investment advice, you could deposit money and use the website as a marketplace as well. In that case, my code Mike will net you a 5% deposit bonus, bringing it from 30 to 35%. So go get swagged out, courtesy of skinsmonkey.com. Now, as I said, Vanguard was very interesting, and that's because we saw a lot of M4A1-S basilisks being purchased on a lot of Chinese inventories. Now, it doesn't have that signature 0 to 1 float cap, which you typically see being purchased up by these inventories. And that's because of the rather unique float caps of all of the skins that are within Vanguard. They also have very, very little 0 to 1 float cap guns. And while some blues in the Spectrum are like 0 to 0.9, which makes it not all too bad, the ones in Vanguard are very, very low, meaning that getting Factory New Basilisks or any Factory New skin above blue, very hard to trade up to. It may just be because of the skin being an M4A1-S, because the knives are the original knives, which have like 20 cases or something associated with it trade up wise. So I can't realistically see those ones being cornered yet until they have more capital, but it is something to just keep an eye on, a watchful eye on, see if they start to pump any other skins within the collection. One case that surprised me that we didn't see all too much accumulation of was the Gamma case. Only 2 cases, and they housed Gamma Dopplers, Emerald knives. Now, like with every case that we've talked about so far with knives, it is harder. Gamma Dopplers only go from 0 to 0.08, meaning that you only really need a field-tested red to trade up to in order to get an Emerald Factory New. Now, that does hurt it, but they still can technically corner these skins. But it does have to start from the bottom up, right? It's going to take much longer and require much more capital. And they're not even necessarily guarding the knives. They're just guarding the inputs to maintain knife prices, not pump them like we saw with the glove case. The only skin within it that we've seen so far lately is the Tech-9 fuel injector, which has been a recent source of attention over the last few weeks. It has went up quite a bit, but not the typical pump you see from China, so they could be still in an accumulation phase. Wait for price to dip down a little bit. If it doesn't, then don't bother. Even if it goes up, you didn't miss much. The risk to reward is not there at this current price. To expose yourself though, you could get some of the blues or purples in the collection, which will run you way less money, and if everything goes to shit and they dump, then you only lose $3 on your blue as opposed to $80 on your... Now, Clutch and Revolution have the same problem. Now, they do have gloves, and all gloves are harder to trade up to, which makes the subsequent supply needing to control much easier, right? You only need to control factory new and minimal wear, basically, for most skins. But I cannot see this pump happening until some of these cases get discontinued, right? Revolution must be in extremely high supply, and it's one of the most open cases per week, per month, and per year. Buying the inputs in factory new, like the headshot and the Temucal, might not be a bad idea. However, the gloves themselves are still continuing to go down over time. So there is a point at which you could purchase the gloves because they're simply undervalued. But for pumps, I don't see this setup yet until something happens, like a catalyst to the Revolution case, such as being removed from the pools. Lastly, yesterday's video did have good timing because we are seeing some accounts also picking up stickers in more volume than what we've seen in the last few weeks and months. China loves their century egg. I don't know what the fuck it is. It's like an egg covered in soy sauce. It looks gross, but they love buying stickers that look like this gross looking egg. And this hypothesis holds up. E.g. Hollow looks like a black egg, kinda, if you squint hard enough. Outsiders from Antwerp kinda look like black egg, especially in game. And this was a very, very short-lived pump. It was only like one day. They pumped the Forest Autograph from London 2018 because the O in Forest is a 0 in his name and it looks like an egg on the black background. That's literally the only reason why it went up, and it pumped like 800%. It's insane that that's the basis of my analysis. However, if the shoe fits, we'll see if this accumulation is meaningful or if they're just, holding bags from August. Now, our Chinese friend came in on Twitch last night and he spoke about the Tech-9 safety net. Am I buying the Tech-9 safety net? Fuck no. But it is within the Train 2021 collection, and that always has legs for China. So if you have some of those P2000 space races or CZ syndicates, which I've called a couple of months ago, it's best to hold on to those still. I still am. For the DE News China watch list, focus on those Gamma 1 and 2 cases because I do think they're not going to be able to ignore that case for long. If they're done with Spectrum, they'll move on to Gamma. It only seems like the next logical step. The next one, the M4 Decimator, which is in the Spectrum case, which is their current main source of attention, it seems like. By proxy, the UMP Scaffold, as it is the only 0-1 float cap gun within the entire case. Tune in tonight for a live stream on Twitch. We will have a theme. I'll announce it. A lot of good ideas in the Discord. If you're not in the Discord, link will be in the comment with my Twitch link. Also, if you're in a crowded place and you don't like watching a video, I will post a brief summary of the video on Twitter in words. That should be all AI. I'm not typing that shit out. Maybe sometimes I will, but it'll mostly be AI. Just let you know right now. As always, peace.